Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. With this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing a GeForce RTX 3060 Ti in Black Myth Wukong. This one is the Founders Edition model of the card. We are running it with the latest Nvidia drivers, and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech Power-Ups. GPU 0 accessible bar is also enabled, and over on the left, I'm pairing it with a Ryzen 9 7950X 3D CPU with half of its cores disabled, so it's basically the same as a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D and 32GB of DDR5 6000 MHz RAM in dual channel. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's go over the settings first. I am starting at 1080p resolution, and we're also going to try this at 1440p and 4K. I'm using DLSS 100% at the moment, so it's DLAA, no ray tracing, and the custom settings by Digital Foundry. These provide the best visuals to performance ratio pretty much. And as you can see, at 1080p resolution, it gets around 60 to 70 frames per second, at least in this area, which is the most intensive area that I've come across so far, especially down there in the bamboo forest. Things are going to become pretty intensive for the little 3060 Ti, but this is kind of expected, especially after seeing what the 3070 could do in this title. Now, that means that in some scenarios, the 3060 Ti will drop from 60 FPS, unfortunately, into the 50s. As you can see, it's not really that big of a deal, because the game's still very playable with 50 plus FPS, and that's what you get pretty much. But yeah, keep that in mind. It's not going to be a smooth 60 plus FPS 100% of the time experience. Now, if you overclock the GPU a little bit, you might actually be able... Oh my god, it's stuttering quite a bit, by the way. It's been a while since I played this. UE5 has traversal stuttering, so of course, yeah, those things will happen. The frame time spikes. Stop it. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm just noticing that I am terrible at this game at the moment since I haven't played it in a week. Okay, I'm not used to it anymore. But hey, it looks great. It performs well-ish enough, I guess. Honestly, I thought it was going to be slightly better than this, but we also tried the 3070 in a little bit of a different area. I also went here, by the way, but it didn't really drop from 60. This one, yeah, sometimes even here in this area, it gets really, really close to 60 FPS. I guess it could be worse, but I was wishing for 60 plus 100% of the time. Thankfully, though, we can have it by the use of DLSS. If you set it to 67%, it's quality DLSS there, and now it looks a little bit worse. Of course, this is upscaled from 720p at the moment, but I think I would take that visual hit, slight visual hit. It's just a little bit over sharpened at the moment, basically, to make up for that resolution loss. But I think it still looks good, especially on a 1080p monitor. It will look good. And this way, you can get 60 plus 100% of the time, right? I mean, over here, it was dropping into the 50s. Now it's dropping into the 60s. It's still not giving us a huge boost to performance, apparently. Okay, it's dropping into the low 60s at times. Previously, it dropped to what, like 53 in this area? So yeah, if you want 60 plus 100% of the time, this is what you need to do. DLSS quality, optimized settings, and I do recommend the optimized settings because they look really good compared to like the medium preset, for example. But yeah, this way you can enjoy good visuals, good resolution, I guess. It's not bad by any means. And it won't ever drop from 60 FPS, since it didn't really drop back there. Maybe in some new biomes by the end of the game, you know, it will start dropping a little bit, because some people have told me it is more intensive there. But yeah, in the initial few hours at least, it's going to be absolutely fine with the 3060 Ti as long as you use DLSS. Now, there is also frame generation in this game. Unfortunately, it's FSR 3 plus frame generation, not 3.1. If it was FSR 3.1, we could see FSR frame generation plus DLSS being an option, but here it isn't. You gotta use FSR to use FG. And although the FG implementation is actually decent and it works quite well to smooth out your frame rate, and it doesn't add a lot of input lag, unfortunately, the FSR implementation in this game is really rough, guys. I really don't like it. So this is the preferred way to play the game with the RTX 3060 Ti, in my opinion. We'll just stick to these settings. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, they got an archer guy over there. I hate the archers because they can attack you from far away and they throw a ton of arrows at you at once. Look at that. Look at that. Stop. Stop. I'm clicking space to evade and dodge that. But yeah, it wasn't working, as you could see there. Holy crap, look at the amount of arrows on me. No, more of them. No. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna go there. No, more. So many. What? Stop. I don't care. I'm just gonna go like this. Yes, oh, there's a big boy right there. This could be a boss, you know, this little section of the game. Oh my god. So I defeated Bob in his human form, and now he's back in his bear form. And he's gonna be terrible. I even missed that. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, now I learned how to do this. Wait a second. Fiery boy, attack. There it is. Good stuff. Another heavy attack. Let's go. Fiery boy, we can do this. We can... My gosh. Oh, that's a big boy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's not gonna happen, guys. We're gonna spend the rest of the benchmark down in the forest area. All right, let's go try some FSR here with frame generation enabled. Okay, just so I can showcase that here in this video for those of you interested. Yeah, it has that more amount of noise around the character while moving, and especially if you are near grass and vegetation, you will see a ton of noise. But you do get higher FPS than just using DLSS on quality, and you're also playing at the higher native resolution. Right now the game is rendering at full-on 1080p, and previously with quality DLSS it was 720p upscaled, of course, which again still looked great, and I would probably play like that because this is a bit too noisy to my eyes. But if you want to use FSR Native plus FG, it's also going to provide you a good experience, okay? There's no wrong option. It's down to personal preference. It is a good way to play the game. It is smooth. It also seems to smooth out some of the frame time spikes that we were seeing before. Or maybe it's because we already loaded everything that there was to load, and it's UE5, so yeah, those things are already cached, and they won't stutter or make your game stutter anymore. Now, around here, FPS actually drop into the 80s sometimes. Look at that, 82, 81, and whenever they drop down that far, it's still very playable, okay? Even with 70 FPS, the frame generation in this title is decent, and it's playable like that, but now I can notice a bit more input lag for sure. Anyway, let's go back to DLSS 100% scaling here, and let's do 1440p resolution. I'll need to restart the game for that because it doesn't have an exclusive full screen mode, and I'll have to set it in the desktop. Okay, here we go. 2560 by 1440 is now applied. 100% DLSS, which is DLAA, and the same Digital Foundry optimized settings. And if you're wondering about the hardware unboxed settings, they drop a little bit more FPS whenever you're fighting and changing forms into the fiery boy, for example. So it's a little bit more unstable, and it does get you slightly higher averages, but it's not really that big of a deal. The 1% lows will be worse. So I'm using these settings. I think they look great still, although some of the grass and vegetation is a little bit more static than the other settings. Anyway, let's keep on going here, getting just below 60 FPS, so I think it's gonna drop into the 40s whenever we reach the bamboo forest, and later on, I guess we'll need to try and fight the freaking bastard, the bear. It's already dropping into the 40s, by the way. But yeah, how am I supposed to fight the bear if I can't even get past all of those archers and so on without getting hit and losing health as a result? That's going to be extremely hard, guys. Now, this is still playable, obviously, not my cup of tea for an action game like this, you know? You sometimes need some fast reactions to avoid attacks and so on, and to kill bosses, and, well, with 40 FPS, it will hinder your experience a little bit. Thankfully, though, it's not dropping into the 30s, so it's playable. Once again, especially with the controller, it's going to provide a playable experience. It looks great at the same time here with UE5. The game is not well optimized, but I mean 3060 Ti can still handle it like a champ, right? I mean, this 1440p native, it looks very good and it is still playable. It's not like other titles like, for example, Bodycam that run ray tracing and lumen by default and is extremely intensive. Anyway, we're doing 67% scaling here, which is DLSS quality once again, and it seems to be above what it recommends. What does it recommend? 50%. That's performance DLSS. It's what it recommends at the 1440p resolution. Now the thing with DLSS is the higher the resolution, the better it will look. So DLSS quality at 1080p was still very good looking. It's a good implementation in this game, but it was a bit over sharpened and you lost a little bit of detail here and there. But here at 1440p, I am not really seeing that loss in quality, at least. If I'm not nitpicking, I can't really tell a big difference. It's still a little bit over-sharpened, though, that's for sure. It's trying to make up for lack of detail, once again, by over-sharpening the picture. But I don't mind it. It looks good. It gets you pretty much the same FPS as native 1080p did, you know, with DLAA. So it's going to be a playable experience, just... yeah, it does dip into the mid-50s and possibly low 50s as well. So it's not the greatest experience. Maybe the balanced DLSS, which I think is like 58%. Although, like, from 55 all the way up to 61 is exactly the same thing. Same with the 62%, which is when it changes from balance to quality, okay? 62% all the way up to DLAA, 90%, is exactly the same thing. There is no change in visuals or performance. So we're just gonna set it to balanced here. And with DLSS balanced, it's slightly more pixelated, I guess. But will it give us that extra boost in FPS to make it above 60 FPS the entire time? That would be great. Stop attacking me, you flipping bastards, mate. These guys are so annoying. All right, 62, 60. I guess it stays above 60 all of the time now. Oh, 59. No, completely terrible and unplayable. I'm just kidding, of course. If you overclock the card a little bit, it will stay above 60 100% of the time. It's great to see, okay? So you don't really need to go down to performance for it to become a really smooth experience above 60 all of the time, almost. So yeah, and if you're playing with a controller, even better, because you're not likely going to notice those slight dips. It's only to like 59 or 58 anyways. You could even lock it to like 58 FPS and have that experience. I did that a lot back in the days, by the way. I should probably start testing balanced DLSS a little bit more often, because at least in this game, the implementation is pretty damn good. I am liking this, guys. It's not too far off of what DLSS quality did in terms of visuals. And if you're not nitpicking, you can't really tell much of a difference. This is nice. Okay, I'm gonna use this. I don't care. Gonna get away from here. There are way too many enemies around. I don't like it. Oh boy. I'm fine though. Oh no, I'm not fine anymore. What the hell? Why did you disappear? Gosh. I need you again, ghost boy. Oh, yeah. Look at how smooth it is, my friends. On a 1440p monitor at like 27 inches, this will look great and play really well at the same time. So, no worries with this GPU. Oh, they can attack each other, actually, and take some HP off of each other. Good stuff. I didn't know there was team killing in this game. Good to know that there is, I guess. Oh, yes, there is incense here. Oh, thank God. Okay, here we go, guys. What is that smoke effect there? Looks terrible. Okay. Hello, Bob. We meet again. Okay, let me do this. Boom. It doesn't even take any HP off of him, almost. Are you kidding me? Okay. Oh, seriously? I wasted a heavy attack of the fiery boy already because the guy was too far away from me. Oh, this is terrible, guys. This is terrible. Come on. Do your heavy attack, dude. Do your heavy attack. Heavy attack, I said. My God. He's a very fast boy. Somehow. Okay. All right. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Finish him. There we go. Good job. Good job. We almost got the statue thingy there once again. Let's do it. Good. Good, 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 good. Okay. Go back a little, maybe? No? No. You can still beat him. We can... He's so annoyed. He's so annoyed. What the hell? Okay, don't forget, I still got the ghost form guy. I just reminded him of it, I guess. What the hell? Bob is hearing us. That's also cheating. No, 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 no. Beat the bastard, beat the bastard, beat the bastard, beat the bastard! No! No! No, no, no. Drink again! Oh my god. He jumps towards us and he kills us because he's so massive. Now, once again, you could use FSR frame generation, but here the FPS, the base FPS will be lower, of course. So the input lag will be way higher. I can notice, yeah, right away, guys. I wouldn't do this, okay? The input lag is super noticeable now, especially in the bamboo forest where it's likely going to drop into the 60s. Not a good experience, okay? Just, yeah, don't use this. And I mean, you can utilize like 67% FSR, which is quality FSR plus frame generation for a higher frame rate, and it does work, as you can see. We're up into the 100s, but now the image just is way too noisy. And there's quite a lot of ghosting as well around the character while moving like this. Yeah, I wouldn't. But I mean, you do you, of course. It is stable, it is playable like this. It just doesn't really look as good as DLSS balanced did, so I would just choose that since it was a snappy experience because of no input lag and a very good looking one as well because of no noise, basically. So let's move along to 4K resolution. Starting with 4K DLAA here, so native and Digital Foundry's optimized settings. And it is in the 30s, guys. That means that in the bamboo forest, it will get wrecked, basically. I'm gonna go there with this fast traveling technique here. And look at that. We're not even in the most intensive area. It's already getting cinematic frame rates of 24 frames per second. Holy crap. Yeah, it's wrecked now. What? Come on. I guess VRAM just filled up there and it swapped some things into the RAM and we had a massive stutter because of it. Maybe. FPS are still the same though. But yeah, with drops into the 20s, no. Let's do DLSS performance, which is still exceeding the recommended settings, interestingly enough. I guess, yeah, ultra performance is what it recommends for this, but ultra performance looks terrible at 4K. So I'm just gonna leave it on performance, which still looks pretty decent here. Yeah, it's better looking than like 1440p native resolution when you're using performance DLSS on a 4K panel, you know. So it still provides pretty nice visuals. And with higher end GPUs, I ended up actually recommended performance DLSS in this title because, again, it just looks good, okay? But with the RTX 3060 Ti, it's constantly below 60 FPS, dropping down into the 40s, so getting pretty much the same performance as like 1440p native this time around. I guess native at 1440 was a little bit slower than this, dropping into lower 40s, but yeah, it is not amazing, guys. Nothing you can do here at 4K will make it an amazing experience with the RTX 3060 Ti or 4060 Ti. I almost said 4060 Ti. That one is also only slightly faster, so yeah, maybe it can do like 60 average, but yeah, with drops, I wouldn't really recommend this. I think this is more meant for 1440p gaming or even 1080p gaming these days because of its 8 gigabytes of frame buffer. Yeah, 4K is a bit too much, but if you really, really want to play like this and if you don't mind the 50 FPS experience and 40 plus basically, again, it's still a playable experience. Not for me, I prefer that smoothness, but if you can play with this and if you have a controller, for example, it's going to work. So that's great to see, you know. 3060 Ti still hanging in there. just by a little thread at 4K resolution. If this was a first-person shooter, I wouldn't say it's playable since it delivers sub 60 FPS very often. But since it's a third-person game that can be played and will likely be better played with the controller, yeah, it works. Alright, now we're back to 1080p resolution, and we're gonna do something that you should probably not do, and that is enable full ray tracing here on low. And if you're wondering, you shouldn't also do it on medium or very high, but low is the minimum setting, and it's still very intensive, as you'll see. Well, we're back here, guys, using full RT on low. It does look quite a bit better in terms of that lighting quality, and especially the shadow quality, which was really bad actually on the optimized settings. And even if you utilize the maximum settings inside of the game without ray tracing, the draw distance of the shadow sucks. Unfortunately, this is such an intensive setting to enable that it puts our RTX 3060 Ti in its knees. It also makes the game stutter quite a bit more. As you can see, there's tons of more frame time spikes, even though we're not running out of VRAM or anything like that. It's just how it is. Ray tracing with UE5 usually is stuttery. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, guys, especially at native resolution. But, I mean, they made DLSS mainly for this, so you can use ray tracing without losing a ton of performance. And, well, DLSS quality plus RT low plus optimized settings gives you 40 plus frames per second. We've seen this already at 1440p native resolution, right? With optimized settings, no ray tracing. At 4K with performance DLSS. And now with ray tracing on quality DLSS, so 720p upscaled and 1080p resolution. It's getting the same experience with a little bit more stuttering, lowering down our 1% lows to around 20 at this moment. But it will smooth out as you play the game and it loads more stuff and so on. So that's not really that big of an issue, the stuttering part of it. Thing is, you could have 60 plus FPS all of the time with quality DLSS and optimized settings without ray tracing. Basically double of what we're seeing here sometimes. Obviously in this area it still dropped into the 60s, but yeah, you could see 100 FPS average or something like that, 90 FPS average, but you were seeing 50 FPS average instead because of that RT. Is it worth it to you? I don't know, only you can tell, of course, but I don't think I would enable RT with the RTX 3060 Ti. Maybe with something like a 4070 Super or 4080, but again, it does change quite a lot in terms of visuals, so feel free to play around with it. Tell me your opinions down below in the comments as well. Obviously, everybody's opinion will be different, and I'm curious to see if some of you would play like this instead of the other settings that I showed with 60 FPS plus most of the time. And now, that's been it for this one, my friends. Thank you so much for watching the video. There's a bit more artifacting as well now that ray tracing is enabled plus DLSS. It's a little bit weird, but I'll catch you in the next one very soon. And as always, love you all. Bye-bye.